Good evening and welcome to our Monday Zoom chat. Tonight we're doing the superpowers of biblical times and now. We're fixing to have a lot of fun tonight. If you want to change the world, you must empower people, and education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world.
Robbie?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not seeing your. Okay, now we're good. I'm seeing the screen now. We're good.
Okay. Some of the oils that we're going to talk about tonight are in the Family Essentials Kit, and that's just kind of giving you an idea of what it entails. Plants in history. I like studying the papyrus. Egypt founded houses of life, which were medical institutions, as early as the first dynasty. The Cahun gynecological papyrus includes treatments for women's ailments, including conception problems. 34 cases survive, and these include various fragmentary details of diagnosis and medical treatment. Written somewhere around or before 1800 BC, the Cahun gynecological papyrus remains the oldest surviving medical text in existence, though there are some out there being tested for ages that are older. God's gift in his creation. Distillation. Until very recently, it was believed that distillation was invented by the renowned Persian physician Ibn Sina. Let me exit out of this here real quick. Known as Avicenna in Europe, who lived from 980 to 1037 BC. During this time, Hungary and Scandinavia converted to Christianity. Viking raider Leif Erikson discovers North America. He called it Vinland, and the oldest English epic, Beowulf, was written circa 1000 AD. But in 1975, during a research expedition to Pakistan, led by Dr. Paoli Roveste, a terracotta distillation, if this dating is accurate, Seth, the third son of Adam, would have died a few years before this, circa 12 BC, and Noah was not even born yet. Sorry, guys. I must have gotten something out of whack. This evidence seemed to suggest that distillation is quite a bit more ancient than was previously supposed. But whatever its origin and whoever first invented it, it appears that Avicenna was the first to apply the process of distillation to the preparation of rose water and other aqueous perfumes from flowers. This he did by blowing live steam into the distillation vessel filled with the plants. Avicenna then would seem to be the innovator who first developed steam distillation. So if essential oils in the modern sense were not used in biblical times, then what were the oils used then? The earliest records of essential oils come from India, Persia, and Egypt. Both Greece and Rome traded extensively in odoriferous oils and ointments with Oriental countries. Most likely, these were extracts made by placing flowers, roots, and leaves in fatty oils. In most ancient cultures, odorous plants or their resinous products were used directly. So even though steam distilled oils were not around, the idea of using plants for medicinal purposes has been around since very ancient times. And this is not surprising. God created and placed gifts in his creation for our benefit and use. So again, essential oils, as we know them today, are not the same as the oils used in the Bible, or not exactly. But read on. The essences of the plants themselves are the same, but the method used for their extraction has changed. So first we're going to start off the night with Cassia. It's one of my favorite oils. And if you trace the origin of the word, it actually means, Cassia means to cut off or to strip off bark. Cassia essential oil smells and tastes like cinnamon oils. It's one of the ingredients in the recipe used for the holy anointing oil given to Moses. I'm not going to read through a lot of these, but I am going to give you some pointers on them throughout the presentation. Exodus 30. Moreover, the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take thou also unto thee 3 principal spices of pure myrrh, cinnamon, calamus, and cassia. And so you can see those oils used right there. Cassia is also mentioned in Psalms, Ezekiel. It's one of the few essential oils mentioned in the Old Testament. It's known as a warming oil, which helps promote a healthy immune function. It's also a great oil to diffuse during cold months due to its warming properties and spicy scent. Cassia can be used in cooking, either as a replacement for cinnamon in pies and breads, or by itself in a myriad of entrees and desserts. Now, emotionally speaking, cassia is the oil of self-assurance. Cassia is a wonderful oil for the shy and introverted person. It brings out courage, pride, confidence, and authenticity. It is commonly the main ingredient in the bottle when purchasing the spice here in the U.S. As far as when you, in the U.S., when you're purchasing cinnamon in the spice, most generally it's actually cassia. So let's go on to cinnamon. Ceylon cinnamon, the true cinnamon, is used in Britain, but here we go. American cinnamon is almost always from the related cassia tree of Southeast Asia and is stronger and sweeter. Cinnamon is the oil of sexual harmony. Cinnamon supports the reproductive system and helps heal sexual issues. It dispels fear and rejection issues and nurtures healthy sexuality. It assists in relationships where insecurities are shown by jealousy or control. It aids body acceptance, harmony, and intimacy. Now, I love the cedar wood. It's probably one of my, well, okay, so I have a lot of favorite oils, but it's one of my favorites. Cedar oil was used by the Egyptians. It was used by the Romans, the Sumerians. It came from the famous cedar of Lebanon, but the great cedar of Lebanon forests of old are nearly gone now. Therefore, you cannot today buy an oil that comes from them. Although the ancient cedar of Lebanon is not what it once was, the modern cedar wood tree is the closest relative of those ancient trees. The Egyptian uses for cedar wood oil for embalming were because of the cedrol, a key element in cedar wood trees. It has a pesticidal effect and kept insects away from the body. In terms of biblical history, King David and King Solomon used this wood to build their palaces. You can find cedar wood mentioned in the Bible in Kings, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah. Cedar wood is known as the oil of community. It assists people in seeing that they are not alone, that life is a shared experience. It is an invaluable aid to helping people see that they are not alone and have a large support group in friends and family, and God above. It is an oil that he placed great emphasis on. Now, you don't see this very often, but there is a reference to cumin in the Bible. The planting of cumin is described, and the knowledge of beneficial farming practices is ascribed as coming from God. Originally from Iran and the Mediterranean, it's actually a member of the parsley family. The ancient Greeks kept a dish of it on the dinner table, a practice which continues today in Morocco. Like many spices, cumin has a rich history, and in fact, according to the Bible, cumin had such a powerful medicinal value that it could be used as money. One of the common plants seen growing in medieval monasteries, the healthy benefits of cumin is documented by the ancient Greek and Egyptian physicians. In the Middle Ages, at a time when spices were relatively rare, cumin was one of the most common spices. It was thought to promote love and fidelity. People carried it to weddings and walked around with it in their pockets. It was reputed to keep lovers and chickens from wandering. Thus, married soldiers were sent off to battle with a fresh baked loaf of cumin bread. It comes from Hebrew, common, originally cultivated in Iran. Cumin is mentioned in both the New and Old Testaments, and so that's pretty interesting that they mentioned it that often. Okay, Cypress, one of my absolute favorites. Cypress can be used for as a massage oil. It works really well. It's related to the Hebrew word gopher, the tree whose wood was used to make the ark. Genesis 14. The cypress, I'm not going to say it, is a legendary tree, not only because it can live 2,000 or more years, but because of its historical associations. For example, some reports say that a massive cypress tree in Soma, Lombardy, dates back to the birth of Christ, while others put its planting at about 40 years before. That's really cool. Cypress is known anciently as a tree with supernatural powers, although it's not known why. The fragrant wood of the cypress tree, being rich in resinous essential oils, takes many years to decompose, rendering it ideal for coffins and sarcophagi. In fact, the wood is so strongly scented that the tree was planted around the houses, churches, and cemeteries in Tuscany, as people believed the air was freshened by the tree, giving rise to the quintessential Tuscan landscape that we hold as being typical of the area. Cypress is known as the oil of motion and flow. This powerful oil creates an energetic flow and emotional catharsis. Stagnant energies are brought into motion. Cypress works in the heart and mind, creating flexibility. Flexible, trust, flowing with life, adaptable, emotional growth. Those are all really good qualities of cypress. And frankincense. Now that one really does have to be my favorite oil. From medieval Latin, francus, meaning free or at liberty, and incense, to arouse or inspire. Put together, free to inspire. I really like that, researching the particular name on that one. Frankincense has been traded on the Arabian Peninsula and in North Africa for more than 5,000 years. A mural depicting sacks of frankincense traded from the land of Punt adorns the walls of the temple of ancient Egyptian queen Hatshepsut, who died circa 1458 BC. Frankincense promotes permanent healing in virtually every part of the body. It can permeate the blood-brain barrier, allowing it to work more effectively on emotional and physical well-being, and neurological issues are greatly affected by the use of this king of essential oils. Did you know that the eyeliner worn by Egyptians was much more than a fashion statement? It was actually ashes of frankincense and myrrh resin used to support the eyes due to the humid conditions close to the Nile River. It would be beneficial to add a drop of one or the other to your eyeliner. Frankincense is one of the incenses described in the scriptures. The frankincense used by the Jews, Greeks, and Romans is also known by the Hebrew-derived word olibanum. In the Old Testament, we are told that worshipers of Yahweh from Sheba comes with frankincense. All those from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and frankincense and shall bring good news, the praises of the Lord. See also Jeremiah 6:20, again in the Song of Solomon. It also appears in Exodus, Leviticus, Malachi, Psalms, Luke, Revelation. Frankincense is talked about a lot in the Bible. Frankincense is known as the oil of truth. It reveals deceptions and false truths. It assists with spiritual awakening and healing. When one has felt abandoned or forgotten, frankincense reminds them that they are loved and protected. It helps one feel loved, enlightened, protected, gives wisdom, discernment, and helps one be spiritually open. Myrrh, from a root meaning of was bitter. I like the ancient definition of it. Was bitter. When your heart is filled with love, it's no longer bitter. And myrrh is very good at loosening and freeing the heart. It's been around for over 5,000 years. It was used by the ancient Egyptians in the embalming of bodies and also as a face cream. It's the first oil to be mentioned in the Bible. It's mentioned in Genesis, Exodus, Esther, Psalms, Proverbs, Song of Solomon, Matthew, Mark, John. Myrrh's mentioned a lot. It is the oil of Mother Earth. Myrrh helps the soul to feel the love and nurturing presence of the mother. It helps in assisting one to feel loved and cared for. When the mother-child bond has been disrupted, it can assist in aiding one to feel safe and secure. And in that, what they're referring to is that children who have been adopted do really well with myrrh. And now we have a recipe for prayer, straight out of Exodus. A tablespoon of olive oil, 2 drops myrrh, 2 drops cinnamon, 2 drops sweet orange, and a drop of frankincense. You can diffuse this periodically or apply topically in sparing amounts when praying. This is really a nice blend, and I do like to use it. All right, Helichrysum. Next to frankincense and myrrh, this is my third favorite oil right here. Love Helichrysum. From the Greek helios, meaning sun, and chrysos, meaning gold. It's a beautiful plant. That's all I have to. I just can't tell you how much I really like this oil. In historical terms, Helichrysum has been selected for centuries, sometimes indicated as a gift to the Greek gods in the form of dried flower heads. And while we don't find it in the Bible, I wanted to make sure that it was mentioned because it is an ancient oil. Helichrysum is an amazing healer of pain. It aids the walking wounded, those with a history of trauma, self-destruction, or loss. The oil restores confidence, strength, and endurance, especially towards oneself. And lavender. Now we're going to go back and forth here in the next few pages between lavender and spikenard, because they were kind of interchangeable back then. Lavender actually means a washing. So a freshening, a washing. The ancient Greeks called lavender nardus after the Syrian city of Narda and was commonly called nard. Like marjoram and oregano, lavender was interchangeable with spikenard in ancient texts, and some believe that when nard was mentioned in the Bible, it may have been speaking of lavender. And so I have kind of used both of those together. The oil was known in ancient times and was part of the Ayurvedic herbal traditions of India. It was obtained as a luxury in ancient Egypt and the Near East. In other parts of the ancient world, Achilles used it to anoint the body of Patroclus. And in Rome, it was the main ingredient of the perfume nardinum. Pliny the Elder's Natural History has 12 species of nard, used commonly but sparingly to flavor foods among the Romans. It pops up regularly in the Apicius manuscript, which is a Roman cookbook that dates from the late 4th or early 5th century AD. They're not sure which was one of spikenard or lavender may have been one of the ingredients in the creation of the holy anointing oil in Exodus. It's mentioned twice in Canticles, the Song of Solomon. Fragrant henna with spikenard and saffron, calamus and cinnamon, with every kind of incense tree, with myrrh and aloes and all the finest spices. You've got it in John, Matthew, again, Song of Solomon, Mark, John. And then we have lavender is the oil of communication. It aids in communication. It calms insecurities that are felt when one risks their true thoughts and feelings. Individuals in need of lavender hide within, blocking all forms of true self-expression. It supports in releasing tension and constriction. And I thought that was interesting in that it releases constriction, for those of you who have done a few more studies. Spikenard actually means ear of grain and sharp point, interestingly enough. I want to do more research on it for sure. It's a really interesting definition. Spikenard is the oil of gratitude. It encourages true appreciation for life. It addresses patterns of ingratitude where the individuals see themselves as the target or victims of bad luck or a victim of their life circumstance. It encourages the individual to surrender and find an appreciation for all of life's experiences. And we have lemon. While lemon itself was not mentioned in the Bible, citrus was, and generally it would have been lemon or lime in that period that they were talking about. Brought from India to the Levant by the Arabs in 9th or 10th century, the word is perhaps ultimately from Austronesian word of the Malay archipelago, such as Balinese, limo, lemon, lima, citrus fruit, lime. Lemon is the oil of focus. Focuses energy, helps you be mentally connected, alert, rational, joyful. It nourishes the mind and aids in concentration. Oregano. Again, whether it was oregano or marjoram spoken about in the Bible, they're not sure because the two are so closely related that they were possibly interchangeable. But it was called Delight of the Mountains. The sweet, spicy scent of oregano was reputedly created by the goddess Aphrodite as a symbol of happiness. Bridal couples were crowned with garlands of oregano, and the plants were placed on tombs to give peace to departed spirits. Oregano was also historically used as a key ingredient in alcoholic ales to prevent them from turning sour. It's the oil of humility and non-attachment. The forceful and intense aroma and flavor of oregano cuts through to the heart of the matter and teaches individuals to do the same. It clears blocks, negativity, and negative attachments. It teaches humility, makes one teachable, flexible, with a willingness to be wrong, and helps open one to devotion. And peppermint I included because mint is mentioned in the Bible. And it is so old that it is probably from a lost language. I thought that was very interesting. It's been listed in an ancient, the Ebers Papyrus, dating to 1550 BC. It's listed as calming to stomach pains. Mint was so valued in Egypt that it was used as a form of currency. In the Bible, you have it mentioned in Luke, where Jesus tells the Pharisees, "But woe unto you, Pharisees, for ye tithe mint and rue and all manner of herbs, and pass over judgment and the love of God. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone." In Greek mythology, it was a river nymph in the Cocytus River, one of the 5 rivers of Hades. Peppermint is the oil of a buoyant heart. Peppermint brings joy and buoyancy to the heart and soul. It invigorates body, mind, and soul, and reminds individuals that life can be happy. It gives you optimism, makes you feel relieved and renewed. It's really a great oil. Sandalwood is referred to as aloes in the Bible. Note that this is not the same thing as aloe vera, which is an American plant. Sandalwood is a name given to a class of fragrant woods that, unlike other aromatic woods, can retain their fragrance for decades. Both the wood and oil have been highly valued for centuries, and sandalwood has a documented history of many applications. It was traditionally used as an incense in religious ceremonies and for enhancing meditation, and the Egyptians used sandalwood for embalming. It is very beneficial to the skin. It can help reduce the appearance of skin imperfections, and it promotes a healthy, smooth complexion. Sandalwood has a sweet, woody aroma that can enhance mood and is frequently used in meditation for its grounding effects. It's found in Numbers and in Solomon. It is the oil of sacred devotion. Sandalwood is frequently used during prayer and meditation for its ability to teach spiritual devotion and sacrifice. It assists in quieting the mind so that one can hear the subtle voice of the Spirit for those who are ready to leave behind attachments to material things and a need for acceptance. Now, below are some other oils that might be good for use during times of prayer and meditation. There's nothing mystical about this, just a person who is feeling under the weather might take a nap or a hot shower to help them feel better before a time of prayer. So these oils can help prepare your mind and body to go before the Lord. You have arborvitae, sandalwood we covered. Arborvitae is an American plant that actually has a really, really long history here among Native Americans. Cedar wood, frankincense, marjoram, Roman chamomile, vetiver. All of those are great for meditation. I want to thank you for coming. Y'all have a great evening, and we will see you next week, and we will be talking about the healing power of giving. We're going to cover our Healing Hands Foundation and our co-impact sourcing and some of the oils that are generated through those programs. We will also be replaying that on Saturday, April 1st at 9 a.m. So if you can't make one, you can join us for the other. As always, we have our book study on Wednesdays at 8, and right now we're still covering the shack. The love of a single heart can change the world, and we are changing the world one drop at a time. You can reach us at Felissa@doterra@outlook.com or Robin@theoldmasonhomestead.com, or you can find us on Facebook, Felissa@CHOOSE-HEALTH.us or Robin@Inspiring Solutions Together. I hope you had a great time, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.